Hi, good morning. Good morning? Yeah, it is morning. Welcome. So, I would like to do a reading for Friday feelings. Friday feelings. And we'll just see what message wants to come through. I decided not to light a candle because I will be leaving this little space and something tells me don't light a candle because I'll forget that it's burning. And I've done that before, but luckily remembered it. But I've done it again recently where I'm like, oh, let's just pretend it's lit today. I always like to light that candle. It just sets the mood. So we'll pretend it's lit for our own safety. So, yeah, let's go ahead and start with our classic tarot deck. And just feel into for this Friday and the week we've had, and I feel like so much has been calling us into a fresh perspective on things, whatever that is in our lives, because we're all different. And when we get a fresh perspective, there are a lot of feelings about that. There's anticipatory feelings about the newness of things, seeing things fresh. But then there's the confusion of that when we see things with fresh eyes or kind of have a new take on things, whether it's relationships or projects we have going on or just the stuff that keeps weighing on our mind, like themes in our lives, that we're trying to shift into a new way of seeing things because we're like, man, I'm just done with this cycle. I'm done with this. I don't know. There's got to be more. And that came up, recently in our readings. There's got to be more to this existence, more than whatever. It's different for all of us, right? Oh, man. I've had a lot of that in my life like this. There's been a workaholic tendency, a push tendency, trying to be overly efficient because for whatever reason our culture values efficiency. Well, actually our biology values efficiency too. We're wired that way. Everything has a purpose and everything works together so intricately, perfectly. And so there's an efficiency to just our nature. So I guess that's not too abnormal. It's just sometimes you just don't want that to be the forefront of your mind, the quickest, most resource effective way to do things. And it's that takes a toll because there's the brain that's always orienting toward that efficiency, which means there's cycles used up in well, that way's not efficient, that way's not, process of elimination too. Efficiency means a stripping away kind of vibe or energy to it, which takes energy to realize what needs stripped away. And I don't know why this is coming through, but it might all be related to this idea of fresh perspective, stripping away the old way of seeing things, letting it go. I feel all of this is an act of surrender. When we get to that point of oh, enough already. I'm so frustrated with myself for the way my whatever thoughts keep coming back, the way I react in my relationships. There's always not always, but I feel at some point in each of our lives we go through this, or it returns from time to time where it's I've been more reactionary, versus oh, let me just pause for a moment and take that in and see how I really feel about it, and then act instead of react out of whatever that is for each of us. So all of that, might be related to what we're going to find today. Who knows? Maybe not. But I feel it brings up a lot of feelings when we're getting to that point of oh, just surrender already. Take this from me. I'm ready for that new way of seeing things in my life. So, yeah, thank you for that message. I feel again, we're still at the start of this year. And maybe it's like, maybe there's still like this letting go energy of 2024 of like, okay, I feel it. It's going. Like it's behind me. And we're not quite like fully released, but we're hopeful about what's coming. And so we're in that kind of limbo, that liminal space. I love when people use the word liminal. We're kind of in that, like, we're walking over that bridge, looking back, and we're like, you stay back there. You stay right at the start of the bridge. I'm going over there where I'm going to find what's new. Like, so anyway, yeah, let's just see what Friday feelings want to emerge that we want to look at and just like really feel into. I love having this. I don't know. I just sort of like came up with these weekday, or somebody came up with them and planted them in my head, these weekday themes. And I really am starting to, this is like only over one full week in. So we're on our second Friday feelings. And so I feel like there's something here. Right? Like I'm going to flow with it until I decide to change the weekday themes. But right now I really feel like, yeah, we're getting to Friday. Let's feel into it. Let's leave like all the thoughts of the work week behind. I know we don't all have the same work week schedule. That's okay. Whatever. You don't have to listen to Friday feelings on your Friday, but you can like on the actual Friday, you can listen to it on your Friday, whatever that is for you, where you have like a couple, maybe 1 or 2 days of rest after. This is just like feeling into it, and then Saturday we go into other stuff, and Sunday other stuff. So let's just take a moment and like feel. Okay, thank you. I don't even know what kind of spread I want to do. I don't get this. I don't understand why I'm going to do this, but this image has kept popping to mind today and kind of leading up to today where it didn't quite fit yet. And now I feel like it fits, and I don't know why. And that's sort of that trust for me of intuition of like, let's just find out. Maybe it's nothing. Thank you, Spirit. There's Strength. Knight of Wands. I've never done this layout before. The 8 of Pentacles and the Emperor. That's really interesting because when I was thinking about this 4 card, I'm like, is there a cross pattern? You know, like there's something here, something in the clockwise. Maybe counter, but I don't know yet. Maybe there's like a flow. Maybe there's like connecting the dots. And that's what came up. So we'll just see, and then we'll clarify some stuff. So let me see if my coffee is a good temperature. Ding, ding, ding. The best part of waking up. It really is. So the Strength card, something, you know what? I didn't do an overall. That's why I'm like, what does it mean? Oh, Ace of Cups. I love that. Isn't Ace of Cups always, aren't the aces always that fresh perspective on things? Ooh, I love it. And you know, it's like Friday feelings. Look at all that water. It's like pure emotion. It's like your heart's overflowing. It's that gift of the heart. I love the dove with the like cross thing coming down, because the aces, I feel like they're all like divinely inspired. There's usually a hand coming out from the clouds, like, and it's usually a big hand, you know, like this gift from somewhere else, not of this earth, saying here. And look at all the water of intuition. And I feel like water here, it's like that heart energy of like just like whoosh, emotion, feeling, all the things. So that ties right into Friday feelings. I guess out of all the, out of all the cards in the deck, like when you combine this idea that's been emerging over and over again about we need a fresh perspective, we desire one, we're gonna get one, stripping away the old, make way for the new, plus like Friday feelings, like feel things. Like this is the ultimate card of combining those two things. I feel like aces are that fresh gift. Oh man. So I guess it makes a lot of sense. But how does it relate to this? We have strength. Now, when I read strength, it's usually an inner strength that's required. I mean, what else is there? Tarot's not going to talk about your muscles, is it? It's like this. And with this one, I mean, you've seen the strength before, but I'll hold it up because I'm in the mood to give you all the colors. It's this woman, doesn't matter, female, male, whatever, this feminine energy of like, usually there's like the receptive element of femininity, like the receiving. And then there's also like, so we don't think of her as immediately like the outward display of strength immediately, but oh God, it's there. Like every woman will tell you like, dude, I'm stronger than everybody. Sometimes I don't feel it, but like we have like the lion energy in us. I'm a Leo rising, so I know it's in me too. So anyway, she's got this inner, just like calm strength, this inner knowing strength of like taming the beast with like gentle methods. I love that because I related to body work of like, you don't just go in hard immediately. Like, I'm gonna fix those trigger points. I'm gonna get rid of them and like conquer. And it's like, no, the body's like, it will resist you. It'll just throw you back out. I've felt it. Like you try to go in and you think like, especially when I was a newer therapist and I'm like, oh my God, there's this like big, dense body on my table. Like usually like big man traps or something. It's not always men. But like the men intimidated me at first because like every time I'd have a male client on the table, no matter what physical shape they were in, they just felt more dense to me as a new baby therapist who was like, I'm still building up my strength. And so I finally learned a different way. Like you don't fight density with density, do you? No, you don't. You go in a different way, and usually it's like calming the nervous system, a lot of warming up, superficial to deep, like gradual. You don't just go in hard and be like, slay the beast. And so I relate to this a lot of ways. It's like, here's a different approach, and it has an even greater outcome for both parties. So it's like this inner strength, like when we, like, that just speaks to our feelings too, our emotions we have. Oh man, it's just like, there's strength in knowing how you feel. Like there's confusion and not knowing, like I feel something, I just don't know why. I was talking with a friend about her granddaughter who's going through puberty, and it's like, oh, I remember those feelings of like having the feelings and just being like, I don't have a way to like do anything about these, and it hurts and it's like uncomfortable and it's just agonizing, the intensity of the feelings. And so it's a confusing time. And then you get older and they're still hard, but there's this way of being receptive to them, I guess, like accepting them, acceptive and receptive of like, it's like equanimity again. There's the strength and equanimity of like, there's an equality to all things, instead of being reactionary. I guess that's why that came up. It's like when we react, it's like a resistance, and it's like a not soft energy. And this is like a soft energy of dealing with those feelings we have that are sometimes confusing, because we don't, like, there's this liminal space, I guess, of like, we're crossing over the bridge of like, I'm confused by what I feel, but I don't know what's being called to be done about it. Like, do I need to act on something? Is there something in my immediate experience that needs my attention, and that's why I'm feeling this? Okay, let's act. As long as we know, like, it's from a place of clarity, not reactionary, triggered up experience reactions, you know what I mean? So all of that's coming up right now about the strength card of like, there's strength in that liminal space of creating space between the trigger and the emotion it brings, and then the action. And maybe that's the bridge we're on. Like, we're leaving behind our old triggers, or we're at least making friends with them, healing them, knowing what they are. And we're in this liminal space where it's like a little confusing. We're not going to act now. We don't have a new way of acting yet. We see what's across the bridge, what's coming. There's going to be this fresh perspective on things that we're going to integrate. And we're going to be like, now I can act from this place of inner calm strength. I'm receptive to what's here. I'm not pushing it away. I know it will clarify. Oh, I just love that feeling of like sitting in the confusion, sitting in a little bit of discomfort, letting it feel into the body, knowing that there's strength there. There's not strength in resistance. It feels like you're strong because it's like that energy of like, but no, it's like, actually you don't even feel strong. You feel like depleted afterwards, like when it finally lets up. This is like a strength of like, I can sit with this and just let it be there. And she's like taming the beast in that way. Like, it's okay. You don't have to lash out. It's okay. Oh, I love that feminine energy. I see it in men too. Don't take it as a male-female thing. I love when I see, especially when I worked at the bar, this was my favorite. One of my favorite things about it is like, you would see some of the regulars who are very reactionary. They come in amped up from the week, and they're just like wanting to interact with people in that amped up way as they like maybe try to settle down from the workday. They just come in like amped up. And then you see other guys that were there sitting there just like, in their eyes, they've seen stuff. Like, they've seen things. They've lived. And they've integrated it in their lives. They're just like this calm center of the storm. But like you look in their eyes and you're like, you've seen stuff. I love that. And they're the most calm, just like the centered wisdom. Oh, and I'm like, I want to talk to you. Tell me everything. Oh my God, tell me the lessons you've learned. And like, to see those two energies side by side, the other guy's amped up and this guy's just like drinking his Budweiser or whatever it is. Just like, yeah, usually a Budweiser bottle. They've seen stuff. Look at the old timers drinking the Budweiser bottle. They've seen stuff. I mean, a lot of them have had to move to Bud Light. I mean, it doesn't agree with the stomach after a while. Or Miller Lite, actually. Miller Lite. They've seen stuff too. But Miller Lite bottles. Okay, I'm on a sidetrack. Anyway, that's my favorite energy of like, you've come to a place where it no longer like has you in its grips, whatever that is. Like, or whatever. You've come in and you're just like, and you've integrated it. And when I say integrate, it's like you've alchemized it into, and it's now just a part of your body wisdom. it informs everything you do. Oh, got chills. Oh, I did get chills. I love that. I'm sure like you've met people like that in your life or in passing, and aren't you intrigued by them? You just want to talk to them. Like, oh, bask in their like intent, like their calm intensity. And I feel like, oh, that's strength. Look at that calm intensity. Okay, gotta move on. It's already so long. So, Knight of Wands. I'm just gonna read them like in the circular. Knight of Wands that's a very like fast. It's like a fast energy. It's not the fastest knight, like the Knight of Swords. This is like, it feels like that passion for life. The knight is heavily armored though too. Like maybe a little defensive. It's like these are kind of opposites in a way. And oh my God, oh wow. Those are opposites of like the strength of, look at this calm, feminine, receptive strength. She's in this flowing gown. She's got this infinity up here that's like that divine, like I read it as like everything's related, everything's one. I am divinely inspired. I'm always like this, like that infinity of like this is how we always can be. You know, the alwaysness of the infinity symbol. It's like a forever feeling. I feel like once you've come to that place, like those old timers, there's no going back. You might get triggered once in a while by certain things, but there's that, yeah, you're almost like, dude, nothing can faze me ever again. You might get phased a little bit, and that's normal, that's human, but it's like the big ones, you're like, I've seen stuff. And this one, he is heavily armored, and with the wands of that fire energy, and look at this horse, like he looks like he's about to ram into something. So this is that forceful strength, and this is that receptive strength. The chills. I just love thinking about the duality, and maybe like even having both in one person as like that paradox of things, and like the push and pull between the two that we have as we go through life. What is here? What are you saying? Oh my God. I love that. It's like opposing energies, but one can kind of lead into the other. And then like there's that infinity symbol of like alchemizing the two over time or in any one moment. Oh, my stomach just growled. Too much coffee? Too soon in the morning? So anyways, we come down around clockwise. We have the Emperor. And I almost wish we had the Empress right here, you know. But the Emperor is also heavily armored. And the Emperor, I feel like, is that wisdom also, but not the divinely inspired wisdom. I mean, he might be, but he's like, I mean, he kind of, but not entirely. So the Emperor's like, I have this strength. I'm not up in action, but I'm ready to take action at any moment. I could. And I'm ready for battle. Like there's the Emperor rules over the land, right? Has his people's interests in mind. Like he's a good emperor. He's not like of the movies or whatever. He's a good emperor. I think he's a little like rigid in some ways, just like he has to be, like it's the role he's playing. It's a role he's playing, and he's sitting upon this really heavy throne, and maybe that weighs on him, like the responsibility over his people. and like always ready to defend them. Yeah, there's something there. And then the Eight of Pentacles is that hard, like having a skill set, working hard. Like what? We need to clarify these. I love these two, what I immediately felt here. I don't know what I feel yet till we clarify these. There's something about maybe the heaviness of responsibility. Is that resonating for some of you? And that brings up a lot of feelings. And knowing that you have the strength, like both kinds of strength to handle it. They're always within you. And then, you know, you have to do the hard work. Like be consistent. Like doing the hard work of that. That is interesting. We're going to have to clarify. And I think it all is in some service to this new perspective and this new like emotional strength and this bubbling up energy of emotional strength. It's like overflowing in this. It's like able to handle all of this because now you have this new well of strength, emotional fortitude. We'll see. When I get this a little unsure how these all tie together, you know where I'm going. I'm going to my archetypes. I love these. Spirit, please help clarify this overall energy. Like what are we really asking to take a look at, being asked of us? I'm going to try to get some of these to slip apart, you know, because they get a little sticky. And I'm going to say right now, please give us a new card we haven't gotten this week, just for the sake of knowing that it relates to this, instead of like I just didn't cleanse these cards enough or shuffle them enough. I know I'm ridiculous. I'm a new little baby tarot and oracle reader, so maybe this is taboo. I don't know. And you know what? Doesn't matter. I'm not trying to be like everyone else or anyone else, and nobody should. I do like to take in the wisdom of others and see if it feels right for me, but as far as like how it speaks through me, no, everybody's unique. So, side note, anyway, let's clarify this Ace of Cups and overall energy. Like, how do these all tie together in the way that needs, what do we need to look at? Thank you. The Warrior. That is so interesting when we're getting all this warrior energy here. Oh my God, you guys, that's it. I don't know what it's going to say, but like the strength, the knight, he's a warrior. The emperor, he's been a warrior. How do you think he got to be the emperor? And he's still wearing his armor, ready to go to battle for his people. And then we have the warrior of the worker, who's doing the work day in, day out. Like, that's warrior. Oh my God, this is really cool that it's like, here's how it all goes together. We'll find out. By the way, I do want to show you this. All of these cards are so beautiful. I love the line work and then the colors and there's usually a lot of collage done here. This must have taken, I think it did take her years to put this together, like years, and I appreciate it. The warrior, the samurai, the soldier, the advocate. Oh, going to war for your people is being an advocate. That energy felt right. Thank you. We often envision the warrior as an armored figure with a sword in hand moving blindly toward battle, yet the deeper aspects of this archetype bring us face to face with death itself. The warrior stands precariously at the edge of life and death, trusting the eternal to guide the sword's blade. The warrior's work requires presence, alignment, and purpose. If and when the warrior loses its center, meaningless confrontations and violence are their default response. Remember, that's why that bar energy came to mind, that like, when the warrior loses its center, meaningless confrontations and violence are their default response. I saw that day in, day out at the bar. People coming in uncentered and just like they come in for a confrontation. You can tell when they walk in the door, like you're like, be on the lookout. Gonna have to use my big girl voice. When this card appears, it is important to question the battle at hand. It is likely a great one with deep roots and long-standing tensions. The actions you take will stay with you long after the dust settles, so choose wisely, brave one. As you draw your sword, realign with the eternal wisdom within, then surrender to the battle. That internal wisdom of the people. I've seen stuff. Realign with that. Like, you've been through stuff, you have the strength. Man, when light, fierce clarity, purposeful action, resolve, resilience. Oh my God, you guys, all those words. When dark, this is what to watch out for. Threats, savagery, abandoning mission and values. That cat has been naughty today. I've got to leave the door closed. He's been naughty. The little jelly bean. Surprise, surprise. Without a true purpose. I always forget to read Go Deeper, the Tao Te Ching, chapter 68, the Bhagavad Gita. So, if you have those texts or want to look them up, go right ahead. I think I will. I love that. I have the Tao Te Ching somewhere on my bookshelf. I've always been curious about the Bhagavad Gita because I like to say the words. Without a true purpose, manifesto, or oath, the warrior is lost. What do you stand for? What are you willing to rise in the name of? Write it out. Oh my God, you guys. Be careful, as the warrior implies war. The two go hand in hand. Those who defeat others are strong. Those who defeat themselves are mighty. I just got chills. Oh my God. Oh my God. Is it still here? No. My favorite quote, I have to look it up right now so that I don't get it wrong. This came to me. It's got to come out. It's a Rainer Marie Rilke quote. Rainer Marie Rilke. The purpose defeated by... It's funny, like, I obviously know what the quote is because I just almost typed the whole thing. Yes. Rainer Maria Rilke is a poet who I just love, like, top 5 poets for me. That's saying a lot. And it's the purpose of life is to be defeated by greater and greater things. Austrian poet, it says. I forgot that. The purpose of life is to be defeated by greater and greater things. Don't you just love that? The reason I looked around is because I had it's engraved on a plaque because I went through an MBA program, and when we finished, they asked each person in our cohort to provide their favorite quote. And then what they did, and I provided that one. And then what they did is put them each, like, with our name they engraved it on a plaque with the school's emblem, and it was so cool because it just captured, like, the fiery essence of each individual in that cohort. And I say fiery as in, like, they're obviously passionate about whatever quote they provided. And there were some good ones. Maybe someday I'll pull out that plaque. It's so heavy, I never hung it on a wall. I'd be afraid it'd crash down and break the floor. It's so heavy. But, like, maybe I'll bring it out and, like, read all the quotes and just, like, reminisce. It'd be more a video journal for me, not for you. You probably don't, wouldn't connect with it if it's not with the people, but you might with the quotes. I don't know. Anyway, this warrior, like, this whole, like, idea of to battle yourself, to defeat yourself, to be defeated by greater and greater things is of the self. It's not like we want to be defeated by other people. That's not what that quote's about. It's about, like, you go through these challenges and you might feel defeated, and then you rise again through this strength, and then you could, like, the next thing, it's not like it has to be greater to defeat you, and then you rise back up. If it's the same thing, you're not going to feel defeated. You're not going to learn anything from it. You're not going to build resiliency. Like it talks about, oh my God, I'm so many chills. We have to defeat ourselves over and over, bigger and bigger, like rise to the next challenge, the next challenge. And I love this, like this, what are you fighting for? And like, who are you, what's your, oh God, what were the words? You have to go back and read it. But it reminded me of the Emperor energy of like you're doing it for a purpose, like in defense of something, in honor of something. Like that's why we go to war, or we go to war to conquer the things in ourselves that need conquered. And the way that it resonates for me personally, going to war, is like, it's always like resisting thoughts that felt like war in my head. Like, oh, I just wish I didn't feel this way or think this way, or like, I'm so, like, it's like basic anxiety and kind of worry stuff. But then, like, my form of war was finally a surrender, which is like such a paradox, isn't it? Like, the way I was able to battle, and this is ongoing, it's not like one and done. When I say was, like in the past, it was like I'm reflecting on a specific time when, like, my first real act of surrender was actually the way that ultimately conquered that cycle I'd been in. Man, war and surrender, don't they feel like they're part of the same thing? Like, to go outward in battle and then surrender, they're like, you'd think they were opposites, but they're not. They can be the exact same thing. Not even just two sides of a coin, but the exact same thing. And that's what, oh my God, this whole like even the beast is kind of surrendering with this calm strength we bring to things. Like that whole like body work analogy. God, this is all related. I have too many chills to tell you about. But I love when things just are so complex yet cohesive. And it's like, you can't just go in and like try to conquer the body on your table. You've got to come with this energy and be like, we're going to tame the beast, and then it will be receptive, just like this lion is so receptive to that kind of energy. Like, yes, tame me. Now, what's interesting, I really would like to clarify the 8 of Pentacles, and let's see how we might want to do that. I feel like with our feelings, this Light Seers tarot deck has a lot of feeling in the imagery, just like beautiful artwork. And I better call it quits here, and we're going to go into an extended. I'm already running long. I realize that. I think this gives us enough like to reflect on about, what does that strength mean to you? What does this warrior energy feel like to you? Where have you used it in your life, in this way of strength, in this way of the Knight of Wands, in this way of the Emperor, in this way just like heads down doing the work? That's strength. When you have to support your family, and like sometimes you have to put maybe some of your personal ambitions aside to do the work. That is strength for the people you love. And that's what's coming through now. So I feel like we've got all these different aspects of the warrior, and this, what's coming from the heart space though. Oh, yeah, to put a bow on it with this, the warrior of the heart, with this calm, centered strength, this knowing strength. I've alchemized where I've been reactionary in my life, and I come from this place of, I've seen stuff, and I can handle anything that comes my way until the greater thing arrives to conquer me. And then I'm like, yes, conquer me. I want to learn. And then the Knight of Wands is that like fiery, like strength with, they're ready for battle. They're in armor. And the Emperor has that strength of like, I'm sitting back, but I'm ready to jump up and defend those causes worth fighting for. I'm defending like my people. Like I have their interests in heart. And like, I'm ready to go to battle for them. And then this is doing that daily work, battling through, just to provide that strength for those loved ones around you. Because you'll get back to your passions, like your own ambitions rather. And like, this is like doing the work. And you're doing it for yourself too. It's not just for them with no redeeming value other than that. It's like, there's strength in like that consistent work versus like the fiery passions, So yeah, I feel like it's all related. So, and it has a lot of feeling there. So I would reflect, like, I want to reflect on this too, like, because obviously that quote that's been with me for years and still touches me, it's like something there about the purpose of life is to be defeated by greater and greater things. That's why I love that poet. Everything he writes is true. He's seen some stuff. Have a beautiful Friday, and like, we're gonna do the weekend reading, so I won't say have a good weekend yet, but have a beautiful Friday and just feel into that warrior energy from the heart. So thank you. Bye.